All right, guys, I'm here with our old friend Nooligan. So the last time we saw you was at D-Con. You had just put out the Black and Gold Nightwing. What you been up to since then, man?
Just kind of plugging along, going to other shows and stuff like that, kind of preparing for the new year. So I'm kind of just keep creating stuff, and just keep traveling around, So.
Cool. I noticed you got more DC figures other than the Nightwing now. So tell us about some of those.
Well, there's like different variants of the same design, so different paint schemes. So we have a Day of the Dead version, a black and white version, and then the classic normal colored version. And then Nightwing on the other was released at D-Con, which gave you the black and gold variant, which is the last variant for that set kind of thing. So yeah,
cool. And then you guys even added on, I noticed, a Joker, Harley, and a Batman too. Yeah.
Yeah. So you got the whole four. So you got and then they're all kind of from different places. All the Day of the Dead was Joker, Batman, and Harley Quinn were at GameStop. Then the Nightwing Day of the Dead was at Foot Locker. So yeah,
that's always all random to me. Yeah. So what other projects you got going on right now? I know you teased earlier a little. Give us a little sneak peek at a Gambit.
Yeah. So I got some other stuff for we're doing a one-off Gambit piece with a collaboration. Online, so I'll have more information about that online soon. Okay. I also have some stuff with Sideshow Collectibles, Unruly coming out in February, so I'll have some stuff for that coming out soon. So those are all things that I'm working for coming up this next new year. So.
Dope. Speaking of online, tell all the cats where they can find you online, man.
I'm just Nooligan. If you're you like my work, you'll find me that way. So yeah.
Dope. Sick. Thanks for your time, brother. It's always good. Alright guys, it's the one, the only, the Eddie, and I am here with inker extraordinaire, Mick Gray.
Hi.
So tell us what projects you've been working on, Mick.
Well, we just got, maybe about 4 months ago, the Dr. Fate Origin. Mark Buckingham asked for me to ink them, and it was just a really gas, because I had never worked with Mark Buckingham before, and he is a fabulous artist. Just wonderful, wonderful Wonder Woman. He's doing kind of the Gal Gadot Wonder Woman there, and just wonderful to work on, something with Mark, who is a consummate professional and knows his line work, knows his art, knows what he wants to see, and lets me capture that in inks for him. So it's been a gas. The Liberty Brigade Kickstart that was just. Open that double page spread up there. This is Barry Kitson's pencils. Creator-owned, public domain superheroes from the 40s and 50s, and he's writing stories for it. It's a 100-page hardcover, full color. It'll be out probably the beginning of the year, something like that. And it's got a who's who of great artists on it. Me and Barry doing 30 pages, Joe Rubenstein and Ron Friends doing another 30 pages, and then probably 10 or 15 who's of the little secret origins of the characters and stuff. So it's been a blast. I hadn't worked with Barry in probably 15 years. We had a good run on Legion of Superheroes together. And so to work with him has been fantastic. When DC started not really calling as much, and I had been thinking for a couple years, I need to kind of try to diversify and get into indie comics, and maybe even, if I could, European comics, if possible. So I started to put the word out a little bit here and there, and in 2019 that happened. So indie, working in indie. And the other one was, out of the blue, I get an email from Heavy Metal Magazine, and they say, how would you like to work on Peter Townsend's unproduced rock opera, Lifehouse?
That is so cool.
We're going to produce a 150-page graphic novel. He's going to color it. You're going to ink. And it's going to be 12 by 12 hardcover with possibly a vinyl record in the back of Peter Townsend's soundtrack to it. Now, this Lifehouse was a dream of Peter Townsend's after Tommy came out, but nobody could get it. It was too weird. Dystopian future, music is outlawed. The only thing that can save the world is music, right?
Yeah.
He started writing music, and there was like 3 scripts done and then a BBC radio play, and none of it caught on. So the producer said, put out your music. That became Who's Next, which is one of the greatest records ever recorded. There's a song on Peter Townsend's solo record that came out after that called Pure and Easy. And there's a line in that, there once was a note, listen. And really, that's the essence of Lifehouse. It's in search of a note of music that can save the world, like Om, maybe, or something like that. And so James Harvey, the artist and creative director behind this, got a hold of this project, got together with Pete, sat down with those 3 scripts and the radio play, said, Pete, what's your favorite? How can we take it all and put it together the way you want it, so it works right? And they did that, and it's beautiful. I'm so excited to be working on it. It's almost like, as I'm working on it, I'm thinking of the movie adaptation of like Evita.
Yeah.
And taking this with Peter Townsend Who music and making this dystopian rock opera, Lifehouse. I think after we're done with the 150 pages, this book comes out, that I'm thinking Hollywood might get excited then. Because it is kind of, now it fits.
Yeah.
It's government's in control. They don't want anybody enjoying things. They don't want anybody, getting off on music or anything. So it could actually work. But I am just so jazzed because I've been a fan of Peter Townsend since I was 16 years old. And now here I am sort of working with him.
Working on his comic. You're
working on
his
dream book. And it's my dream book too.
See, there you go.
And James' dream book. And everybody at Heavy Metal feels the same way too about it.
So when can we expect this project to come out?
Jeez, I'm wondering. I'm 15 pages in. It's 150 pages. And I'm working at a very unorthodox scale and style. I'm not used to working in a European style, but I'm adapting to it and making it work, So let's hope for the new year, beginning of the new year. We're going to strive for it.
All right, well, I'm looking forward to that. So tell the viewers where they can find your work online.
You can always find me at www.mickgray.net, on Facebook. I'm always on Facebook. If you want to get into, I'm a music fanatic, so you can always find me there. The Deep Cut podcast. I have my own podcast interviewing musicians and stuff. You can find that on YouTube. Just look up Deep Cut Podcast, and friend me on Facebook. That's the easiest place to find out about what's going on with me.
All right, Mick, thanks a lot for having us.
Thank you.
All right, guys, this is the one, the only, the Eddie, and I'm here with Tomas Overbai. What's up, Thomas?
Hey, how's it going, man?
Cool. So, the first time we met you, you started off as just like a table in an artist alley. Now you got all of this. So, how did that happen, man?
It's just a natural evolution. Every show that I do, I try to put some money back into the show, either to have a larger display, to have more work, to have a better portfolio. Just it's an investment. Every show is an investment.
Cool. So I heard an inspiring story because I follow you on Instagram, and I saw this and I thought it was just truly inspiring. You had burnt your right hand, and you are right-handed.
I am.
Yeah, so being an artist drawing with your right hand, having burned it, you weren't able to use it for a while?
So it was Christmas Eve. I had some friends over. I was cooking some filet mignons. One got a little squirrely, and it flipped and burned hot oil all over my hand. It actually looks pretty good now, but at the time it was horrible. A few days after that, I felt, as I finally had gotten to the point with my art that I was very happy with and whatnot, I lost my hand. Oh my God, what's going to happen?
That must be the scariest thing.
It was super scary, because then I thought, what am I going to do now? And I saw what was potentially the possibility of all of this future kind of being like going to shit. And so I had an idea and realized that I had a left hand that is perfectly fine. And so I thought, why not give it a try? And so I drew Jimi Hendrix with my left hand, and it was kind of hard. because I thought it was hard. And then I drew Kurt Cobain, was the next left-handed guy. I thought it'd be fun to come up. So I burned my hand and I started drawing with my left hand. And the first couple times I felt that it was really difficult, and it was because I thought it was difficult. As I started doing more, I realized that that idea of difficulty is all manufactured in my head and it wasn't real. And so as I drew more with my left hand, I realized that, wow, I can draw with my left hand. So the third, fourth drawing, it became easy because I felt and thought and believed that it was easy. And so I spent the month of January drawing about 20 different left-handed people, from Barack Obama to David Letterman to Lady Gaga. And at the beginning of February, my hand started feeling better, my right hand, and now my right hand's fine. And so I have been drawing now back with my right hand without any real problem. It can get a little bit, it's kind of thin skin, so if I bump it against stuff, it can kind of get messed up. But there's no pain.
Okay.
There's no, it doesn't. But what it did is it showed me a false core belief that I had. I believed that I couldn't draw with my left hand my entire life, and I believed that I couldn't, and it was just because I didn't try. And so as soon as I tried it and realized that I was wrong, I realized that a belief, a core belief about myself was wrong. And then so that made me think, what other ideas do I have about not only myself, but about the world around me that are incorrect? Yeah. And so that kind of started then fueling and started getting me thinking about like reality itself and about my place in that reality and about all of that stuff. And it made me understand my place. It almost felt like a certain enlightenment, where all of a sudden the clouds opened up and
everything was clear.
Everything was clear, but it was much more mundane than that. It wasn't like that was too flashy for what it was. Yeah. What I felt, just a comfortable, I understood, and I felt everything was in its place. And so then it became an adventure about what other false core beliefs do I have about myself and the world that are incorrect. So I bought a plane ticket to Japan, and I went to Japan for 3 weeks.
Oh, wow, cool.
And so that was just a catalyst for that. And then so it's just I'm so glad. If someone was to say, oh, if you could go back, would you save your hand? And I'm like, no. I have to go through what I went through in order to realize what I had. Yeah. And then I even tried drawing the Hulk with my foot. And just because it was just to get real weird, and that didn't quite work out. But now I know that I can draw with either hand, and it's so neat because then it creates a whole new. For my comic book I'm working on, I have these flashback time sequences that I'm going to be drawing with my left hand, and so it still looks like my work, but it's different. It almost is like I'm really drunk. Yeah. And so it's just fun to. Now it's fun to realize that, and so now every January I'm gonna do something horrible to my hand, like maim my hand, and then so I can't use it for January, and then so I can just use my. So I'm gonna have to think of like just month-long temporary like. But in January I definitely want to start drawing with my left hand. There was a goof for a while where I was trying to. Get my friends to hurt themselves because it would be good for them. So like I'm going around trying to stab all my artist friends in the hands just so that it's like, are you right-handed or left-handed? Oh, I'm left-handed. Okay, smash. And then well, you got to draw with your
other hand.
And so, but again, that's just it's as human beings we tend to pile things on top of each other that don't have anything to do with it. And so again, just that whole, and so I have learned stuff about myself and about the world, and I continue to see it with open eyes and with beginner eyes without all of that shit piled on top of it.
Cool. Well, thank you so much for the inspiring story. Just can you tell the folks where to find you online?
You can find me at tomasoverbai.com, TOMASOVERBAI.com. From there you can find, I have an Amazon store and a t-shirt store and a bunch of other nonsense.
All right, man. Thank you so much for your time.
Yeah, man. Always good to see you.
Yeah.